cameras weren't on. That's the only reason most people never heard about it. It was January 1976 at ABC Studios in New York. Muhammad Ali was there promoting his next fight against Jean-Pierre Koopman. Talk shows, radio spots, newspaper interviews. The usual routine that followed Ali everywhere. Between segments, he was in the green room, sitting on a couch, eating a sandwich, being himself. Loud, funny, cracking jokes, working the room like it was a press conference. Clint Eastwood was there for a different show, promoting a movie. He had just finished his interview and stopped by the green room to grab a cup of coffee before leaving. Ali saw him walk in and immediately lit up. Fresh target, new audience, someone who hadn't heard all his jokes yet. "Clint Eastwood," Ali boomed to the room. "The toughest man in Hollywood, the guy who never loses a fight on screen." Clint gave a small nod. "Ali, you know what I've been thinking?" Ali stood up and started, moving around, doing that light shuffle, playing to the dozen people watching. "I've been thinking about movie tough guys, John Wayne, Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, and you," he pointed at Clint. "Especially you. You shoot everybody, never miss, never lose. But I've been wondering something." Clint poured his coffee and waited. "I've been wondering," Ali said, "what happens if Dirty Harry fights the greatest of all time? Who wins?" The room laughed. Everyone knew this was just Ali setting up a joke. "I'd lose," Clint said calmly, then took a sip of his coffee. That stopped Ali for a moment. He expected pushback, expected Clint to play along. "Hold on," Ali said. "Did Clint Eastwood just say he'd lose a fight?" "To you?" "Yeah," Clint said. "You're the heavyweight champion. I make movies." Ali smiled. He saw an opening. "But in the movies you never lose," Ali said. "In the movies you're the toughest man alive. You telling me that's all. Fake?" "It's movies," Clint said. "It's all fake. So you can't fight? Not for real?" Clint set his coffee down. "I didn't say that." "Then what you saying?" "I'm saying I can fight," Clint replied. "Just not with you. You're a pro. I'm not." Ali started circling him, playing it up. "Come on, Clint, one round, just sparring. No hard shots, just moving around. Let's see what you got." People in the green room were watching now. A few pulled out cameras. This was turning into something. Ali challenging Clint Eastwood. Clint looked at him with that flat, serious stare from his movies. "You sure about this?" "I'm sure. One round, just for fun, unless you scared." "I'm not scared." "Then let's do it. Right now. There's a gym in this building. 3rd floor, no press, no cameras, just you and me." Clint paused. He could say no. He probably should. Walk away and let Ali enjoy the moment. But something about Ali's smile, the idea that Clint was just another actor pretending to be tough, bothered him. "Okay," Clint said. "One round." Ali's grin grew wider. "Now we talkin'. Hollywood's toughest guy gonna show me what he got." They headed upstairs and word spread fast. By the time they reached the gym, about 20 people had followed them. Staff, guests, anyone who heard Ali was about to spar with Clint Eastwood. The gym was small, a basic corporate fitness room, treadmills, weight machines, and some mats in the corner. Someone dug up a pair of old boxing gloves that hadn't been used in years. Ali took off his shirt and started warming up, shadowboxing, moving, talking nonstop. "You know I went 12 rounds with Joe Frazier, 15 with George Foreman in Zaire, and now I'm about to go 3 minutes with Dirty Harry." Clint took off his jacket, rolled up his sleeves, and put on the gloves. He didn't say anything. Just stood there, ready. Ali kept talking. "You got a stance? You know how to hold your hands? Here, let me show you." He stepped closer, demonstrating. "Hands up, left foot forward, chin down." Clint was already standing the right way. Hands up, feet set, chin tucked. Ali stopped mid-sentence. "Wait a second, you've done this before. I told you I could fight. Where'd you learn?" "Around?" Ali looked at him more closely now. The way he stood, how balanced he was. This wasn't an actor guessing. This was someone with real training. "All right," Ali said, "let's see what you got." Someone called time. The round started. Ali moved in first, relaxed, just testing him. Light jabs, nothing serious. Clint slipped them easily, barely moving, just enough to avoid getting hit. Ali threw a slow right hand. Clint blocked it. No counter. "Come on," Ali said. "You gotta throw something back." Clint snapped out a jab, quick and clean, not Ali fast, but solid. It tapped Ali on the shoulder. Ali's eyebrows went up. "Okay, you do know how to throw." Ali picked up the pace, throwing faster combinations, still light, still sparring, but quicker now. Clint stayed with him, blocking, moving his head. His footwork wasn't perfect, but it was far better than it should have been for a movie star. Ali threw a hook, pulled it, didn't want to actually hurt Clint. It grazed Clint's ear. Clint countered, fast, a short right hand that caught Ali on the jaw. Not hard, but clean, precise. The room gasped. Ali stepped back and touched his jaw, looked at Clint. The smile was gone now. You hit me. You said spar. I know what I said, but you actually hit me. You wanted to see what I got. Ali's eyes narrowed. Ite, now I'm interested. He came forward again, faster now, really moving, throwing real combinations, not full power, but real speed, real technique. Clint absorbed it, blocked most of it, took a few shots to the arms, to the shoulders, but he didn't back up, didn't panic, just covered up and weathered it. When Ali paused, Clint threw back. A combination, jab, jab, right hand. The right hand landed clean on Ali's guard and pushed him back a step. Ali laughed. Hold on, you can actually fight. I told you. No, you said you could fight. I thought you meant like fight in movies. This is real fighting. Where you learn this? Clint didn't answer. Just reset. Hands up. The timekeeper called 30 seconds. Ali came in one more time, really working now, showing Clint what speed looked like, what real professional speed looked like, throwing punches from angles Clint couldn't see, landing on his arms, his shoulders, his headgear. But Clint didn't fold, didn't turtle up, kept his hands active, kept moving, kept trying to counter. When the bell rang, both men stepped back. The room erupted, people cheering, clapping. That was the most entertainment they'd had all year. Muhammad Ali actually working against Clint Eastwood, and Clint holding his own. Ali took off his gloves, breathing hard, not from exhaustion, from surprise. Okay, Ali said. Okay, I need the truth. Where you learned to fight like that? Clint took off his gloves. I grew up in Oakland, wrong neighborhood, had to learn. That ain't just street fighting. You got technique, you got form. Someone taught you proper. Clint nodded. I boxed in the Army, Fort Ord, did some smokers, some amateur bouts, nothing serious. How many fights? 12, 13, something like that. You win? Most of them. Ali shook his head, laughing now. Man, you had me fooled. I thought you was just another Hollywood pretty boy playing tough. But you can actually throw hands. I told you I could fight. Yeah, but I didn't believe you. Everyone in Hollywood says they can fight. They all got some story about training with some master or doing some martial art. But they can't really fight. You can fight. He put his arm around Clint. That right hand you caught me with. That was clean. Where'd that come from? You dropped your left. Ali pulled back. I dropped my left? After your hook, you dropped it coming back. Left a gap. Ali's face went serious. He replayed the moment in his head and realized Clint was right. You saw that? In the moment? Yeah. And you countered? Yeah. Ali looked at him different now, not like an actor, like a fighter, someone who understood the game. The room had cleared out some, people drifting away. The show was over, but a few people stayed, watching Ali and Clint talk. How come nobody knows about this? Ali asked. You was in the Army boxing, had 12 fights. How come that ain't part of your story? Because it's not important? Not important? Man, that's better than any movie role. That's real. Clint shrugged. It was a long time ago. Different life. Ali sat down on a bench and gestured for Clint to sit. Tell me about it. The boxing. What was your record? 10-3. Who beat you? First loss was a guy from Texas, Southpaw, caught me with a left hook in the second round. Knocked me out. You got knocked out? Cold. Woke up 30 seconds later wondering where I was. Ali laughed. That's the worst feeling. What about the other two? Lost a decision to a Golden Gloves champion. He was way better than me. I went the distance, but he won every round. And the last one was my final fight. Guy from San Diego. Heavyweight. I was light heavyweight. They matched us wrong. He was too big, too strong. Stopped me in the fourth. And you quit after that? Clint nodded. Realized I wasn't good enough to go pro. Wasn't good enough to make it my life. So I got out. Went to acting. But you kept training. Off and on. Stayed in shape. Hit the bag, but nothing serious. Ali studied him. You got respect for the sport. I can tell. You ain't just some guy who did it for fun. You understand it. I understand enough to know you'd have killed me if that was a real fight. Ali grinned. Yeah, I would have. But you'd have made me work for it. That's more than most people can say. They sat there for a minute. Two men from completely different worlds finding common ground. Can I tell you something? Ali said, voice quieter now, serious. I respect what you did in there. It was just sparring. Nah, it wasn't just sparring. You stepped up. You didn't have to. You could have said no. Could have walked away. Let me talk my trash and that's it. But you got in there, put on the gloves, faced me down. That takes guts. You weren't going to hurt me. You didn't know that. For all you knew, I was going to embarrass you, make you look stupid. But you did it anyway. That's the mark of a real fighter, not the skills, the willingness. Clint didn't know what to say to that. You know what the difference is between movie fighting and real fighting? Ali asked. Everything. Ali laughed. Yeah, everything. But the biggest difference? In movies, you always win. Script says you win. You win. In real fighting, you might lose. Probably will lose at some point. And you gotta be okay with that. You gotta step in knowing you might get beat and do it anyway. That's courage. He stood up. You got that. I saw it. You knew I was better, knew I was faster, knew I could hurt you if I wanted. But you got in there anyway. That's real. They shook hands. Ali pulled Clint in for a hug. You all right, Eastwood? You all right? Word spread about the sparring session, not widely. No video existed, no photos, just stories. People who were there telling people who weren't. Within a week, it had become legend. Muhammad Ali sparred Clint Eastwood. Clint held his own. Ali was impressed. Most people didn't believe it, thought it was Hollywood exaggeration, another celebrity myth. But the people who were there knew. They'd seen it. Seen Clint actually trade punches with the greatest boxer alive. Seen him land clean shots. Seen him survive 3 minutes with someone who could have ended it whenever he wanted. 2 months later, Clint was doing a talk show. Johnny Carson. The conversation drifted to sports. Carson asked if Clint followed boxing. I used to box, Clint said, in the Army. The audience reacted. This was news. You boxed? Carson asked. Like, actually boxed? Amateur, nothing serious, but yeah, I had some fights. How many? 13. Did you win? Most of them. Carson leaned forward. I heard a rumor. Someone told me you sparred with Muhammad Ali. The audience gasped and applauded. Clint smiled. That small smile he did. I wouldn't call it sparring. What would you call it? Surviving. He wanted to see if I could fight. I showed him I could. Sort of. And he was very polite about not killing me. The audience laughed, but Carson pushed. Come on, really? What happened? Really? He's the greatest boxer alive. I'm an actor. He could have destroyed me, but he didn't. He let me move around, let me throw some punches, let me feel what it's like to be in there with someone that good. It was a gift. Did you land any punches? Clint paused. A few. On Muhammad Ali? He let me. That's not what I heard. I heard you caught him clean. Clint's smile got bigger. Once, maybe. The audience went crazy. Johnny Carson was grinning ear to ear. Clint Eastwood hit Muhammad Ali. That's the headline. There's no headline. It was private, just messing around. But you hit him. I touched him. There's a difference. After the show, Carson pulled Clint aside. That story true? All of it? Yeah. How come you never talk about the boxing? Because it's not who I am. I acted in westerns, made movies. That's my job. The boxing was just something I did when I was young. But it's interesting. It makes you more interesting. Clint shook his head. I don't need to be more interesting. I just need to make good movies. 3 years later, 1979. Ali was in Los Angeles training for his fight against Larry Holmes. His last fight, though he didn't know it yet. His body was breaking down. The speed was gone. The reflexes were slowing. But he was still Ali. Still fighting. Clint heard Ali was in town and called his camp, asked if he could visit, watch Ali train. Ali said yes and told him to come by the gym. Clint showed up at noon. The gym was packed, media, trainers, hangers-on, Ali holding court like always. He saw Clint walk in. Eastwood, my favorite Hollywood fighter. They hugged. Ali introduced Clint to his trainer, to his sparring partners, to everyone. This man right here, Ali told them, can actually fight. I know because I fought him. He caught me with a right hand I still remember. The sparring partners looked skeptical. Clint was 49 years old, gray in his hair, lean but not bulky. Didn't look like a fighter. Ali saw their faces. You don't believe me? Get the gloves, we'll show you. Ali, Clint said, we don't need to. Come on, for old times, just a round, like before. Clint tried to decline. But Ali was insistent, and the crowd wanted it, wanted to see if the story was true. They gloved up, 14-ounce gloves this time, proper headgear, in a real ring, not a corporate gym. The bell rang. Ali came forward, slower than before. You could see it. The years had taken something. The shuffle was still there, but it was heavier, earthbound. Clint moved, still had it, still knew how to stand, how to move, how to keep his hands up. Ali threw jabs, slow by Ali standards, but still professional, still clean. Clint slipped them, better than before. 3 years of staying in shape, of remembering the lessons, of keeping the skills fresh. You got better, Ali said, surprised. I practiced. You practiced? For what? In case this happened again. Ali laughed and threw a combination. Clint blocked it and countered with a jab that snapped Ali's head back slightly. The gym went quiet. Ali touched his nose. Okay, you really did practice. They moved for another minute. Ali trying to get through Clint's guard. Clint defending, countering when he could. Neither man trying to hurt the other, just moving, just testing. When the round ended, Ali's trainer was shaking his head. "Champ," the trainer said, "how come you never told us this guy could fight?" "I did tell you. You didn't believe me. We thought you was exaggerating. You know, Hollywood story. But he's legit." Ali looked at Clint. "How often you train?" "Couple times a week, hit the bag, skip rope, shadow box, nothing serious." "That's serious for a movie star," Clint shrugged. "It keeps me honest." They sat in Ali's locker room after, just the two of them, drinking water, cooling down. "Can I ask you something?" Ali said. "Yeah." "Why you keep training? You don't fight professionally. You don't compete. Why keep doing it?" Clint thought about it. "Because it reminds me who I was. Before the movies. Before the fame. I was just a kid from Oakland who could throw a punch. That person still exists. The training keeps him alive." Ali nodded. "I get that. When I'm in the ring, I'm not Muhammad Ali the celebrity. I'm just a fighter, just a man trying not to get hit. That's pure. That's real. That's why you're still doing it, even though your body's telling you to stop?" Ali's face darkened. "My body been telling me to stop for a while now. But if I stop, what am I? Just a loud mouth who used to be good? I'm not ready for that. You're the greatest boxer who ever lived. It doesn't change when you retire." "It does to me." They sat quiet. Two men facing the same truth, that their bodies couldn't do forever what their minds still wanted. "You gonna watch the Holmes fight?" Ali asked. "If you want me to." "I want you to, but I'm gonna warn you. It's not gonna be pretty. I'm not the same fighter you sparred with 3 years ago. Hell, I'm not the same fighter I was 6 months ago." "You're still Ali." "Am I, though? Or am I just the ghost of Ali pretending I can still do this?" Clint didn't answer, because he didn't know what to say. The Holmes fight happened in October 1979. Clint sat ringside and watched Ali take a beating for 10 rounds, watched the referee stop it, watched Ali's corner throw in the towel, watched the greatest boxer of all time realize he was done. After the fight, Clint went to Ali's hotel room. Ali was sitting on the bed, face swollen, hands wrapped in ice, looking older than he should. "You shouldn't have come," Ali said. "I wanted to." "You wanted to see me lose?" "I wanted to be here, whether you won or lost." Ali looked at him. "You know what the worst part is? Not losing, but knowing I can't do it anymore. Knowing my body won't let me be who I am. That's the worst part." Clint sat down. "You're still you. The boxing doesn't define you." "Yeah, it does. That's all I ever was. A fighter. Without that, I'm nothing." "You're wrong. You're Ali. You changed the world. You stood up to the government. You gave people hope. The boxing was just the platform. But you're bigger than that." Ali smiled sadly. "You sound like a movie?" "Maybe, but it's true." They sat there. Two fighters. One retired by choice, one retired by force. Both understanding what it meant to lose the thing you loved. Ali never fought again after Holmes, announced his retirement in 1981 and started his long, slow decline. Parkinson's, tremors, the price of taking too many punches for too many years. Clint visited him when he could, not often. But when he was in town, when their schedules aligned, they'd sit and talk about old times, about that first sparring session when Ali didn't know Clint could fight, about the second session when Clint had gotten better, about the respect they'd found for each other. In 1996, Ali lit the Olympic torch in Atlanta, hands shaking, body failing, but still standing, still present, still Ali. Clint watched on television and called Ali afterward. "You looked good up there," Clint said. "Liar, I looked like I was dying." "You looked like a fighter. Fighters don't quit, even when their body's done." Ali was quiet for a moment. "You still training?" "Some. Not like I used to. Knees are bad, but I hit the bag sometimes." "You think you could still go around with me?" "Absolutely not. You'd destroy me." "Even with the Parkinson's?" "Especially with the Parkinson's. You'd shake me to death." Ali laughed, a real laugh. "That's messed up, Eastwood. That's messed up." "You started it." They talked for another 20 minutes, about boxing, about movies, about getting old, about the things they'd miss when they were gone. When they hung up, Clint sat there thinking about that first day. January 1976. Ali calling him out, expecting to embarrass another Hollywood tough guy, getting surprised instead, finding a real fighter, someone who understood, someone who'd been in the ring, who knew what it meant to get hit and hit back. That respect went both ways, lasted decades, outlasted the careers, outlasted the bodies. Breaking down? Ali died in June 2016. Clint was 86 years old, still making movies, still working. He didn't go to the funeral. Too public, too many people, too much attention. But he sent flowers and a note. The note said, "You were the greatest. In the ring and out. You taught me what real courage looks like. Rest now, champ." The family called to thank him, told him the note meant a lot, that Ali had always spoken highly of him, had always told the story of their sparring sessions. "He said you were the only Hollywood tough guy who was actually tough," they said. Clint smiled. "He was being generous." "No, he meant it. He respected you, said you had a fighter's heart." Years after Ali's death, a documentary was made about his life, his career, his impact. They interviewed Clint for it and asked him about their relationship, about the sparring sessions. "Ali was special," Clint said on camera. "Not because he was the best boxer, but because he understood that fighting isn't just physical. It's mental, it's spiritual. You fight yourself first, your fears, your doubts, your limitations. If you can beat those, beating another man is easy." The interviewer asked if the rumors were true, if Clint had really landed a clean shot on Ali. "I got lucky," Clint said. "He dropped his left, I threw a right, it landed, but it was luck." Ali said it wasn't luck, said you read him, saw the opening, took it. Clint smiled. Ali was generous with his praise. Was he right, though? Maybe. I saw something, reacted. That's what fighters do. You don't think, you react. Your body knows before your brain does. You still consider yourself a fighter? Clint thought about it. I'm a filmmaker who used to fight. But yeah, part of me will always be a fighter. That doesn't go away. Even when you stop fighting, the mindset stays. The understanding that you're capable of, more than you think, that you can take a punch and keep going. That's worth more than any movie I've made. The documentary aired in 2019. That segment with Clint became one of the most shared parts. People were fascinated. Clint Eastwood, the boxer. Clint Eastwood sparring with Ali. Clint Eastwood landing a punch on the greatest. But the real story wasn't the punch, wasn't the sparring session, wasn't the surprise on Ali's face when he realized Clint could fight. The real story was two men from different worlds recognizing something in each other. Respect, understanding, the knowledge that they'd both faced fear and walked toward it anyway. That's what fighters do. Real fighters, not the movie kind. The kind who know what it costs and pay it anyway. Ali was that kind of fighter. So was Clint in his own way. And that day in 1976, when Ali challenged Clint expecting a joke, he found something else instead. A reminder that you can't judge someone by what you see on screen, that Hollywood tough guys sometimes have real stories, real skills, real courage. Clint's in his 90s now, still making movies when his body allows. Still sharp. Still that same quiet intensity. He doesn't talk about the boxing much, doesn't bring it up in interviews unless asked directly. It's not his identity, just part of his history. Something he did when he was young. But the people who know, they know. The trainers, the boxers, the people who understand the sport, they know Clint wasn't faking it. Wasn't just playing tough, he was tough, is tough, in a quiet way, in a way that doesn't need to announce itself. That's the real difference between movie tough and real tough. Movie tough is loud, is performance, is spectacle. Real tough is quiet, is earned, is proven when nobody's watching. Clint proved it to Ali. Not by talking, not by posturing. By putting on gloves and stepping into the ring when he didn't have to, when he could have walked away, when everyone would have understood. He stepped in anyway, took his lumps, landed his shots, earned Ali's respect. That's worth more than any Oscar, any box, office record, any Hollywood accolade. Because it's real. It's tested. It's proven. January 1976, a green room in New York. Muhammad Ali calling out Clint Eastwood, expecting a laugh, getting a fight instead. A real one. Against someone who actually knew what they were doing. That's the story. That's the truth. That's what happened when the greatest boxer alive underestimated the quiet man from Oakland who just wanted coffee. The man who'd been in real fights, who'd been knocked out and gotten back up, who'd quit boxing not because he was afraid, but because he knew his limits. The man who could have said no, but said yes instead. Who could have backed down, but stood his ground. Who could have made excuses but put on the gloves. That man earned Muhammad Ali's respect. Not through movies, not through fame, through something more fundamental, through willingness, through skill, through heart. And that respect lasted until Ali's final day. Lasted beyond it, lasts still. Every time someone tells the story, Every time a young fighter asks if Clint really boxed, every time someone discovers the truth behind the legend. Clint Eastwood, actor, director, icon, and once upon a time, a boxer who went 3 minutes with the greatest and lived to tell about it. Not bad for a movie star who can't really fight. Ali knew better, found out the hard way, and respected Clint all the more for it. That's how you earn respect from a legend, not by talking, by doing. Clint did. Ali noticed, and Hollywood got a story they'd tell for decades. The day Muhammad Ali learned that Clint Eastwood wasn't acting, he was remembering. And memories, unlike movies, don't lie.